Everybody wants the fire. Warmth, light, momentum, results, peace, love, recognition, being chosen, being treated well. But almost nobody wants to put the wood in first, and the confusion starts right there, because putting the wood in first is not effort, it's not grinding, it's not trying harder, it's not understanding more, it's not being right. It's willingness. One stick, one log, sometimes not even a log, just enough to say yes. The ego hates that because willingness removes the excuse of not ready. Readiness is the ego's favorite hiding place. It sounds responsible, it feels mature, but most of the time it is just delay dressed up as wisdom. Fire does not negotiate with delay. Fire responds to participation. The strange thing is, the fire doesn't require certainty. It doesn't require clarity. It doesn't require insight. Insight comes after the practice. Peace appears after willingness. Recognition follows movement, not the other way around. That reverses the whole world's logic. The world says, prove it, then act. The mind that wants peace learns, act, then see. Not because action earns peace, but because willingness removes the barrier to peace. That barrier is always internal. It is never the weather. It is never the other person. It is never the timing. It is the decision to withhold. Withholding looks like protection. It feels like prudence. But it is also the decision to stay cold and call it safety. Most people are waiting for proof before they move. They want to see the flame first. They want guarantees. They want assurance that it will be worth it. They want the outcome without the exposure. They want the relationship without the vulnerability. They want the healing without the honest look. They want the peace without the surrender of being right. So they stand there, cold, staring at an empty fire pit, explaining why the fire should already be there. And then they call that discernment. This shows up everywhere, in relationships, in spirituality, in judgment, in conflict. I'll give once I feel safe. I'll be generous once I'm sure. I'll soften once they soften. I'll forgive once they deserve it. I'll practice once I understand. Those lines sound reasonable to the ego. They sound balanced. They sound fair. But they all translate to the same inner posture. Someone else goes first. That is the exact posture that keeps the fire off, because it is not neutral. It is a choice for coldness disguised as standards. It is a vow to receive without risk. It is a vow to be warmed without touching the wood. And every vow like that creates an internal winter. The deeper level is this. The fire being asked for is never only a fire out there. It is a symbol of inner warmth. It is the felt sense of safety that does not depend on control. It is the quiet confidence that does not depend on praise. It is the steadiness that does not depend on the other person behaving correctly. So when the mind refuses to put wood in, it is not just refusing an action. It is refusing a state of mind. It is refusing openness. It is refusing trust. It is refusing the present moment. Because the present moment has only one doorway. The flare is the woodpile. The irritation is the stick in hand. The judgment is the match waiting to be struck. None of it is a verdict. It is all raw data for a new choice. That is why real practice does not persuade. It demonstrates. It does not promise peace someday. It delivers peace in the middle of life, exactly where it's needed. That is the secret nobody markets, because it cannot be sold as a shortcut. It has no glamour. It has no dopamine spike. It has no bragging rights. It is a quiet pivot inside, and it is always available. Everyone wants kindness, provision, devotion, consistency, and care. Everyone wants to be treasured, Everyone wants to be met. But the ego wants those outcomes without first becoming a giver of them. So it builds a ledger, a checklist, a scorecard. It grades generosity from behind glass. It calls that having standards. It calls that knowing worth. But it is still withholding, still waiting, still demanding first payment. That is why nothing ignites. Because fire does not respond to demands. Fire responds to offering. If stopping is so easy, go first. If generosity is the standard, go first. If kindness matters, go first. If peace is possible, go first. Not perfectly, not heroically, not forever, just willingly. One stick, and then another. And then the mind notices something the ego never predicted. Warmth was never outside. Warmth was released by the decision to stop withholding it. That's all fire has ever asked for.